Okay, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be looking at prime factors. So what is a prime factor? A prime factor is a factor of a number that is also a prime number. So let's start off by trying to find some of the prime factors of the number 24. So the factors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. So can you see which of these numbers that are factors of 24 are our prime factors? Our prime factors are 2 and 3, as these are the only factors of 24 that are prime numbers. So we can represent a number as a product of its prime factors, and this involves multiplying our two prime factors together. So if we have 2 times 3, as you can see, this is the multiplication of our prime factors, but it doesn't equal 24. And this is because when we multiply our prime factors together, one prime factor may occur multiple times when put in form of a product. So if we want to represent 24 as a product of its prime factors, it's really going to be shown as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. And if you work that out, that is equal to 24. We can also write this as 2 cubed times 3. And this is because 2 occurs 3 times. But there's an easier way to work out a number as a product of its prime factors, and that's using something called a prime factor tree. So if I want to break down 64 with a prime factor tree to find its factors, I first off need to divide 64 by a number I know is a factor of 64. So I'm going to choose 2. So 64 divided by 2 is equal to 32. So that breaks 64 into 2 and 32. Now, since 32 is not a prime number, I have to keep going. So I'm also going to now divide 32 by a number that I know is a factor of 32. Now, I know 4 is a factor of 32. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. So that breaks into 32 into 4 and 8. Both 4 and 8 are not prime, so I have to break 4 and 8 down again until they get to their prime numbers. So 4 is 2 as a factor, and the 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now these are both prime, so I can stop there with 4. Now 8, I'm going to divide 8 by 2. And now I'm left with 4. So the only number now in the bottom of my tree that is not prime is 4, and 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. So now what I do to collect up and find my number as a product of its prime factors is I gather up all the prime numbers at the bottom of the tree. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twos. And I have to multiply all of these together to find my number as a product of its prime factors. So since there are 6, I have to multiply 2 6 times. So that would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 64. Or I can write that as 2 to the power of 6 equals 64. So let's break down another number into its prime factors. So we're going to break down a large number, 340, into its prime factors. So first off, let's choose a number that we know is a factor of 340. Since it's an even number, I'm going to choose 2 as it's a nice easy option. So 340 divided by 2 is 170. 170. And we found our first prime factor. Now, do you know any numbers that we can divide 170 by? Now, since it's got a 0 at the end, I'm going to choose the number 10. 170 divided by 10 is 17. Now, 17 is a prime number, so I can stop there with 17, but I still have 10 left. So 10 is equal to 5 times 2. So now I have all of my prime numbers that come together to make up 340. So I'm going to circle each of my prime numbers. We have 2, 2, 5, and 17. So 340 as a product of its prime factors is equal to 17 times 5, and there's 2 2's, so we're going to do 2 twice, times 2 times 2 equals 340. And since we have 2 2's, we can also write it this way, 17 times 5 times 2 squared. So let's break that down one more time. Prime factors are the factors of a number that are also prime numbers. In order to break down a number into its prime factors, I can use a prime factor tree. and I go down the tree dividing each number by its factor until I get to numbers that are prime numbers. This way I can find a number as a product of its prime factors, and this is useful later on when we're looking to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple. So make sure you understand this, because in our next episode we're going to be using these prime factor trees to find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of our numbers. Please like and subscribe if you like the video. And if you're interested in our one-to-one personal tutoring, you can click the link in the description and fill out our form to book a free introductory session. See you next time.